Welcome to the next video that walks us through creating an entire math lab class from scratch. In this video, we're going to start to populate the spreadsheet from our brainstormed rotation activity list. For this example, we're using the 24-25 calendar school year from a random district. We are also going to start populating our list on September 11th. A couple more housekeeping items. We're also going to assume that math lab takes place every other day. With that, we're going to double list everything. In other words, the kids in class during the odd days will encounter their math lab class on September 11th, for example, while the students in class during the even days will encounter their math lab class on September 12th. We're going to label some of the items with numbers. Focus and mini lessons being one of them. This will allow us to identify which one we're on by topic or numerically. We will populate the actual topics later. We're going to use Khan Academy for our practice. More details later, but it's great and it's free. So instead of practice, I'm going to put Khan Academy in its place. How we read this is our first set that we pre-assigned from within Khan Academy. First set means that it is the first chunk of curriculum items that go together and build off each other and are the basic building blocks of a major topic to help us approach grade level understanding. First day means that this is the first of 3 class periods that we allot towards tackling the assignments within this first set. In other words, the students are going to have 3 periods to finish this set of material. And again, and obviously as we've gone through this, they're not going to happen all 3 days in a row because we spread things out. But they will have 3 total class periods to finish everything. All right, we just populated our next items, and the critical thinking activities are another one that we want to get into the habit of labeling them numerically. The same holds true for our assessments. This is read Marking Period 1, assessment numbers 1 and 2. Take a second to look at the next bunch of activities that I just pasted. There isn't anything out of the ordinary to discuss here. Just pause the video to populate your own spreadsheet. Let's talk about Reward Day. The Reward Day is for students that completed their Khan Academy assignments. The reward could be playing a fun online video game, for example. You really need to pick something that they will really look forward to in doing. In my district, our 3 math lab teachers meet up in a separate location. For lack of better words, our separate location is a fun room that has arcade games, air hockey, ping pong, karaoke, and many other fun activities. One of us keeps all the students that didn't finish in one of our classrooms, allowing them to finish and hypothetically progressing to the next set if time permits. This is also a good time to talk about homework. In Math Lab, we don't give out any homework. However, with the students knowing that their reward is tied to their Khan Academy completion, they are allowed to work on it from home whenever they want. Take a look at the next bunch of activities that I just pasted. There isn't anything out of the ordinary to discuss here. Just pause the video to populate your own spreadsheet. With this next set, the only minor thing to point out is for you to notice is on the assessments. The marking period changed to 2, which then changed our numbers to start over. So this would be the first and second quizzes of marking period 2. All right, same thing here. There's nothing really to discuss. You can see how things are progressing. So again, just pause the video if you need to populate your own spreadsheet. And here's the next set with nothing really to point out. Again, just pause the video if you need to. And now we have another set that I just pasted, and there is nothing to discuss here. Obviously, you can see the numbers are going up on the activities that we're doing, like we're on the 9th focus and mini lesson, and we're only on our 2nd hands-on activity at this point. And here is our next set, and we're on set 5 of Khan Academy. All right, here's our next set, and I believe this day right here is, what's really this day, but if they don't achieve the goal, it would be this day, would be the last day for Khan Academy, because we're going to start getting much more heavy into the hands-on activities moving forward. You can see that our financial literacy project time makes its first appearance here in April. That's because their project is introduced towards the back end of the year, and then they have to hand it in, I want to say early 4th marking period. But again, this is just something, depending on what your district does, to allow time for the students to do something in your class for their regular math class. And here's the next set with nothing to really point out or talk about here. Okay, this is where we're going to put our end of the year diagnostics, and we never did talk about where we're putting it in the beginning. All right, so this is where the students should have most of the curriculum under their belt, and since we're designing this, we're going to design it to be up until and through May 9th. So we placed our end of the year diagnostics, so obviously we're going to have to place diagnostics in the beginning, and remember how we skipped all these days up here. So this is where we're going to paste our beginning of the year diagnostics. So we're going to change this to say initial. All right, so this next set, you can see the hands-on activities are starting to come in heavily weighted, where we're doing a lot of them as we close out the year. We also build in another reward day using some different criteria. Since we've already used the last one for Khan Academy, we want to still have some reason for them to earn a reward. So there's lots of different things or reasons what you could use to build up to this reward day moving forward. Okay, so you can see we're continuing with the hands-on activities. And now here we either have a new fact fluency / skill building game, or we make it into a tournament out of the ones that we've done during the year. The students that whatever they like the most, we will turn into a tournament. And by say they, I mean actually all the math lab students in the entire building, because we do a building wide tournament between all of our different classes. So it's just a fun way to culminate things and still get a little bit out of the students. All right, we're going to follow up with another hands-on activity, a teacher choice day, because again, the end of the year calendar usually gets a little wonky. And then we have a special review built in here. In years past, we have had the students create their own Blue Kit, and we use the best ones to do in class, but we're leaving this just as a kind of a catch-all. Keeping in mind that we have class every other day, so this is really only 2 periods, not 4, of end of the year fun activities. So typically one of them is a fun activity, and it's usually this date, or it could be blocked out by something. Maybe there's a field day. Anyway, the other one by fun activity could be a fun activity. It could be your students helping you pack up your classroom. But again, this is built in for teacher discretion. This takes us all the way up to the top. The first week stuff are all the things you need to cover. It could be fire drills, team building activities, classroom procedures, or anything else that needs to be crammed in that we typically don't get to or forget about. So we're actually going to plan that out as well. Before we end this, let's take a look through to see if we need to make any adjustments. You're going to want to do this with your own spreadsheet, specifically the calendar part. So you're looking through the things you highlighted. So green is assembly. Yes, it's going to cut into one of my periods, but that's fine. It gets nothing. I can make do. We can make that work. So you look through other things that you color-coded. Red here, half days. We have our fact fluency skill building games. These can be tailored to squeeze in it during a shorter period. We have picture day. This is just students that are going to get called out at random times. I think both of these can actually handle that, so we should be okay. We have another half day here. Again, this is one of those things they can do homework on their own, so we should be okay here. Worst case scenario. We have a half day here. Okay, this is a little bit tougher, but we can make the assessments for these days to be meant to be shorter. And if they finish early, like the set of students on this day, then we could have them go into the first set of Khan Academy, for example, if they finish early. All right, we have a half day this day. That's fine. We'll just make the review activity tailored to where it could end early in a shortened period, or it could take a full period. Here we have a half day. This is not ideal. So what I might do is flip these. So I might put this here, and we'll go teacher choice here. That way I have a little bit more flexibility with whatever I come up with here, if I have the day. Otherwise, if I get shifted because of a snow day, then I'm obviously going to have to make more adjustments. We have a half day here. It's during a review activity. I can easily tailor those to be able to take a full period or not. We have half days here. They're back-to-back half days and they're together, so these assessments will just be made to be shorter. We have an assembly here, so I might need to make some adjustments here. I'll have to tackle that when it gets closer to see what that's about. But again, that's there as a reminder for me. So if I don't want to take care of it right now, because it's so far in advance, it's at least there for me to look at as time approaches. We have a half day here. Okay, so I'm just going to have to make both of these shorter and then have something as a follow-up on this day if the students get through the activity too fast. We have a half day here. Same thing with this one. Yeah, I'm going to have to do the same thing there. Here is our field day. So this is a teacher choice day, so this is a wasted period because we're going to be outside all day. So this is where I'm going to need the teacher choice day. And then end of the year stuff half day, that's not a big deal at all. So that's how you want to go back and look through the entire spreadsheet to make sure that things map out right. And then once you have that all planned out and ready to go, if you have a snow day, you're going to have to do it all over again. All right, this concludes our 5th Math Lab creation video. We populated our spreadsheet and went over a little bit of the what and why behind some of the activities. Our next video or videos will discuss a lot of the peripheral ideas, in other words, the stuff that is going to go up top above the frozen panes area, like all this stuff up here.